Our conditions shifting back to mildly bearish in this bull market here, getting a little bit of a decent retracement right here, and we're seeing a little bit of softness across the board with the momentum, sentiment, and breadth indicators. Momentum pulling back into that range-bound mode, and also seeing breadth still in that trending mode, but pulling back just slightly, and sentiment still extreme, but also pulling off that extreme level just a little bit as we have been discussing over the last few days. Buy-sell ratio shifting less than 1 now. We're getting that bearish crossover now where we have the red above green, which means we're getting a slight edge towards the bearish side, and we want to be able to keep an eye on that right here. We've got S&P 500, which has had this pullback right here. It's still holding up around this 563 range with some support. You can see some bottoming tail bars happening at this support area. We'll see how that holds up here today. And let's take a look at the NASDAQ 100. That has not held up into that momentum zone, pulling back in. So possibility of some weakness right here in technology, 475, 468 on a potential pullback. And Dow Jones Industrial Average still holding that 418 range. You can see that support area right here. Markets are just consolidating, trying to decide if they want to move higher or start to shift back down again right here. Let's just jump over and look at bonds as well. TLT is continuing to show some weakness here. That means interest rates are moving back up again as we see bond prices coming back down. Still the short-term bonds still in that momentum range, but showing some weakness here as well over the last several sessions. Let's jump over to sectors and see if we've seen any adjustments here as well. Any weakness? We are seeing continued weakness really across the board on sectors. A few more shifting over into short-term downtrends and getting 2 now into that downtrend zone, that sell zone. We've got 6 in the hold range and 5 in that buy range. So really, the color right there is telling the story as well, where we're getting just a lot of mixed sectors happening. Let's look at commodities. We're seeing strength in gold and silver, still silver up 0.79, support bouncing around that $28 level, and also seeing gold continuing to hold up here, 244 in that upper range on GLD. And let's jump over and look at USO. It's actually moved back into that uptrend location. It's in a long-term downtrend, but this we've had some significant geopolitical risk happening in the world, and that is also putting an upward bias here on oil. It's been working on this bottom though, this basing formation, lots of support here. It had dipped back down. So this area has been well tested. This next range right here has also been pretty well tested, and it's starting to work its way back up this direction. Keep a close eye on USO, which is oil. And let's jump over and take a look at some of the muscle stocks in the group. We're seeing NGNE, which has been a nice consolidative type move here. Let's jump over and look. Pretty tight consolidation right in this, a lot of volatility, but working on an attempted breakout here. Relatively light volume on that stock. Also seeing PRAX, which is in the medical biotech space. Nice confirmation bar here with some increased volume. And a couple of chip names that are in here. We've got Broadcom, AVGO, which has moved back up into the momentum zone. And also seeing Taiwan Semiconductors, TSM, which is also doing that same. Some interesting patterns right here, particularly as we've bottomed out and creating some possible new momentum. Once we're in that momentum area here as well, back above that 177 range, could be some opportunity here in Taiwan TSM. That'll do it for today's update. Everyone have a fantastic day today.